first thing I want to talk about is actually the new benefit sanctions. I think. What do you think about that? And then we'll
I've
discussion
spoken it.
after.
I've spoken it in my podcast recently. I just think that benefit sanctions are inherently regressive policy that just kicks people out onto the streets. It doesn't do anything to encourage self-responsibility, because the responsibility is that they can't afford anything baseline, or they can't get a job. Even if they did have, they can't. They're either underutilized or underemployed, or they aren't employed, or they're unemployed at all, or even if they are fully employed, they can't afford rent, or rent covers too much of their costs. They just get kicked out onto the street, and you're getting 13,000 beneficiaries being cut. That's thousands more.
Yeah. What I would say is I don't want to spend too much time on this. What I'll do is narrow it down. What do you think of the 18 to 19-year-olds not being allowed to be on the benefit, and
Well, yeah, we never
parents should
yeah.
have to support if their parents earn $65,000 or more, they have to support them if they're 18 to 19.
Honestly, I think the benefit lines, or the sanctions, or the caps, the thresholds, are just an arbitrary number set. I mean, the median wage or the median salary in this country for one person is over 100,000 a year. The fact that it's 65,000, anybody in between can't afford, or their kid, they can't afford their kid to go to for their kids' living costs when they study or when they're not studying. I mean, I think that, again, it's inherently regressive policy that just deems to drag Kiwis by the heels. It doesn't hit the core problem. Honestly, I think, and I've said this in the podcast, I genuinely think that what benefits should be doing, if you make it a UBI or whatever, that sort of system should be encouraging saving by covering the living costs of one person, either a student or in general every single person. And so the money that a lot of the money that people get via employment, they're able to save for their future. And that might just be students, or it can be means tested. I think that should be the main goal, as on top of it being a safety net. It should encourage saving.
Yeah. So basically, I think, I agree with you, but I also think that's a good. That's nice and windy. But I also think that it's a good thing, like from my point of view, because if you're 18 to 19, you shouldn't be on welfare. That's easy for me to say when it's hard to get a job. Apparently, I mean, I've never struggled to get a job or anything like that.
I should
haven't
say
been in that.
I should say there's an article there's an article that came out today, or as of this recording, that most retailers are not going to be having Christmas intakes, as in they're not going to be bringing in more staff, which usually are going to be students. And don't quote me, it's over half. I think the survey came across, it was about 70%. That is a microcosm of the main issue, that they can't find jobs, and that will inherently impact people that don't have any experience.
Yeah. Well, like I've never struggled to have a job, or get a job or anything like that. So I can't say whether or not, I'm trying to be a bit more nicer to people. So fucking hell.
You hear that?
Yeah, I can't. That's all I can hear.
The wall is right there, and it's hitting the like. It's really fucking loud.
I can hear it. That's all I can hear through my headphones when it blows. I'm trying to be nicer to people. Like,
I'm trying to be nice to motherfuckers. Can they just get a job?
Yeah, so like I would love to say that, and I think that, but I'm trying to be a bit more positive and nicer and say, hey, look, it is hard out there. It is pretty tough for probably a lot of people. So basically,
That's all you can do. I feel sorry for you. Suck an egg. Is that it? Do you have any? Like, is there any policy, or is there any proof that you have that helps and benefits the country, or is it just mildly just like a reactive or reactionary attitude towards people that you deem to not be doing enough
What do you mean by
to
that?
getting a
Sorry.
job? I want to get your whole psychological outlook or your philosophical belief on how people work. Do you just because I'm not hearing any proof or any evidence to the contrary saying that cutting or capping benefits or these benefit sanctions help them to getting a job or living or growing the country in any way, shape, or fashion. Although it can grow the country if you bring in more immigrants, that's another story. Is it just purely a reactionary sentiment to that you don't like that they're getting the benefit that you are not getting because you had a is that it, or is it a because for me, right, is that I thought that I was going to get an accommodation supplement, that I was looking to apply for that, but it turned out is that I don't qualify for that because of my parents, which is fun. And that's that's how that arbitrary cap affects me.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm pretty well off in that I can cover myself, that I get a job, I'll be fine. But there are other people that can't, or they will have a much more heartier job. But I still have a contextual outlook onto why it is. Is it like for you? Is it like I think I'm rambling here? Is it just a reactionary sentiment? You don't like people getting free money?
Well, sort of. I don't like people getting free money, but it's not because I can't get it. I don't want it. I don't think it should be. Well, I used to think it shouldn't be there, but it has to. At the end of the day, it has to be there. Otherwise, everyone would be screwed. But yeah, I've never. I've been very lucky in the way that I've never needed it. So I think the way that I think is because I've never needed it. I just think the same of everyone else. I think, well, they don't need it if I don't need it, and it shoots myself in the foot really because I don't understand everyone's point of view. I just have my own point of view. Um, um, very, I suppose I get a bit of tunnel vision, if you want to call it that.
I'm the same.
Because I just look at my circumstance, how everything's affecting me. Self-centered, if you want to call it that. But I don't give a shit anyway, if you want to call it that. You can dress it up however you like. But that's how I think. It's because I have my own circumstance and I do pretty well, so I think everyone should. But at the end of the day, that's probably not the real. It's not the real world. Probably. I don't know.
To an extent, I do subscribe to that idea. I do kind of agree with what you get at, but that's my point. There's nothing supporting that any benefit to the country relates to that, and I don't think you can get that because I think you can understand that having there is no study that is out right now saying that humans are inherently competitive beings, right? There is no study out there right now that says that if you're on the benny, you'll be on the benefit till you die, unless it's a cultural stigma.
Yeah.
And there are, but it's not a guaranteed one.
Yeah,
and I think
so,
that cultural stigma comes from.
I suppose I do get that
because you're for a UBI, aren't you? Well, I'm half and half. I'm on the fence on it, but you're for a UBI.
I'm for a better welfare system, and it's not about the fact that like our taxes go to many things, right? But this particular thing, it just feels like it's a lot of our tax money goes to this one thing.
100%. I don't have the thing. I believe it's not the main thing. The main thing is health and education. That's the main slice. But it comes as a close third.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, and like I work very hard. Like I do as much work as I can all the time. You know,
Sure,
50, 60 hours. You know, and then when I get my pay slip, and I know our taxes go to a lot of things. When I make $1,400, $1,500, $1,600 gross, and then I've got a $600 or $500 tax bill, and then you look at everyone who is on the benefit or whatever, they get $200-300 or whatever a week to do nothing basically. Okay, that's
the thing is that
that's a dicky way of looking at it, but that's a lot of money that I'm paying, you're paying, a lot of people are paying, and this is just a selfish thing. But
I totally
don't give a shit.
I totally get that. Like, I do get that sentiment. I'm not in. I am an empathetic person, but I am, I'm not as sensitive. Not that it's a terrible thing, absolutely not. But I'm not that type of person that can, when it comes to a homeless person, I'm not going to go there and give money to a homeless person because I'm a bit of a dick. In that, I'm not a good person. I just see that there is an economic hole there, that the fact that they've slipped, that someone like the homeless person or someone in that safety net has slipped through the cracks, and that if we don't stop that, it will be economic catastrophe for this country, right? I mean, I forgot where I was getting at when it comes to yeah.
And I'm not saying that it shouldn't be there. I'm not saying it shouldn't be there. I would like if it wasn't there and we didn't have to have it, but we need it at the end of the day. Not that stupid to not know that.
Yeah.
But it's just I'm looking at it as shit, it just cost me $500.
That's where I was getting at. I want to cut that short because I wanted to go on to your point of how money is allocated. I'm not someone that is completely blind. There's been major problems over the last successive governments, including Labour governments, that when ministries are directed to cut on their public servants, they then default to consultants. When the Ministry of Works was abolished, New Zealand had to move to a contractual system and a procurement system, which involves a lot of consultants. And I think that the real big issue of this country is the fact that we spend billions on consultants, unnecessary consultants, and we spend billions on just procuring contracts for things that we could actually do in-house. Specifically when it comes to roading, when it comes to, ferries, and now, of course, we need to procure. There are things we should be doing to, there are public-private partnerships that we need in there. But in my opinion, I think that the real cost comes from the fact that we allocate consultants too much. If you like this video, click like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay up to date with the weekly breakdown, the daily divide, and other bonus content.